smashPong.com is proud to present How to Play smashPong. The first thing you need to do in order to play smashPong is to find a place to play. You will need to find a location with a hard ground surface so the ball can bounce freely, and a partially enclosed space with back walls for the ball to bounce off of after a heavy smash. Once you have a suitable court picked out, you will then need a table to play on, which can be any size. Ping pong tables work well, but any table surface can be used. After you have a table, you will then need a net. Any standard ping pong net should work. The next things you need are paddles and balls. Standard ping pong paddles are acceptable, but any other custom paddles can be used as well. The balls are standard ping pong balls. Once you have your court, table, net, paddles, and balls, you will then need 4 people to play the game. The object of smashPong is similar to ping pong, where you try to hit the ball onto the opponent's side of the table in a way that prevents them from hitting it back. The big difference between smashPong and ping pong is that in smashPong the team is allowed 3 hits and 3 bounces in which to get the ball back onto the opponent's side of the table. We will explain this in more detail later. Alright, let's get started. To begin the game of smashPong, one team will serve the ball to the other team. The serve is performed when one player hits the ball with his paddle, the ball bounces on his own side of the table and lands on the opponent's side of the table, like this. When the ball comes over, the receiving team has 3 hits and 3 bounces to get the ball back over to the other side of the table. Note that a hit only counts as hitting the ball with your paddle or hand, and a bounce only counts when the ball hits the top of the table or the ground. Let's take a look at some examples. As the ball comes over, it takes its first bounce on the tabletop. The player then uses his first hit to bump to his teammate. The teammate lets the ball bounce on the ground, which counts as the second bounce, uses his second hit to set up his teammate. The ball descends, bounces off the tabletop for its third bounce, where the teammate slams the ball with his third hit. As the ball comes over, it takes its first bounce on the opponent's side of the table. Player 1 uses his first hit to set up his teammate. Player 2 lets the ball bounce on the ground for its second bounce, uses his second hit to set up his teammate, where player 1 lets the ball take its third and final bounce and set up for his third and final hit. When the smash happens, the receiving team has 3 hits and 3 bounces of their own to get the ball back over. As the ball comes over, it takes its first bounce on the opponent's side of the table. The ball then deflects off the garage door and lands on the ground for its second bounce. Player 1 then uses the team's first hit to pass the ball to his teammate. Player 2 lets the ball bounce on the ground for its third and final bounce, then uses the team's second hit to set up his teammate. Player 1 then approaches the net, uses the team's third and final hit to smash the ball onto the opponent's side of the table. Now let's put it all together. Matt serves the ball to Jim and Tim's side of the table. The ball takes its first bounce on the opponent's side of the table. Jim takes the team's first hit. Tim lets the ball bounce its second time and uses the team's second hit to pass the ball back over to Matt and Adam. The ball bounces once for its first bounce. Adam sets up the ball for the team's first hit. Matt lets the ball bounce for its second bounce, then uses the team's second hit to set up Adam. Adam lets the ball bounce for its third bounce on the top of the table and uses the team's third hit to smash the ball down. As the ball comes across, it bounces for its first bounce off the top of the table, ricochets off the garage, and lands on the ground for the team's second bounce. Tim uses the team's first hit to pass the ball back over to Jim. Jim then uses the team's second hit to smash the ball back over to Matt and Adam's side of the table. The ball had bounced once on the table, and now it bounced on the ground for its second bounce, ricochets off the garage, and Matt lets it bounce for its third and final bounce at his feet. He then passes the ball over to Adam with the team's first hit. It's a little far, Adam can't get there, and the ball lands on the ground for its fourth and final bounce. Because Adam and Matt were unable to get the ball back over to Tim and Jim's side of the table, Jim and Tim receive the point. Now that you've seen the basics of how to play smashPong, here is some real-time footage from actual smashPong games so you can get an idea of the pace and flow of an actual game. Please note, there are many other rules to this exciting game, like how to keep score and who serves. These rules can be found by going to smashpong.com and clicking on Rules. Thank you for watching, and please leave your feedback and make sure to sign up as a friend on our Facebook page.
He gets such a yes. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, nice! 1, 2. Tim, kill it. Woo! Ah. 1. Nice. 2, 3. 2. Oh. 2. 3. In the air. I got that. 2. Oh! He's so good at the backhand slam.